Yeah. And
if you look at the satellite pictures, it's a prison in the middle. It's like a prison in like the middle of nowhere, and then out of nowhere, like this group of houses just gets built overnight, and like no one suspects why there are houses in the middle of nowhere.
well, it's like Bin Laden being in that. What do you call it? That's all bullshit too. But this is, and I realize money's not everything, guys. And by the way, I think this is like 10 feet high. It's deceiving, But I mean, that's stacks of money. I mean, you need a truck to come in, a truck.
It must have smelled beautiful in there.
Oh, yeah. I used to be in the diamond business many years ago. Twice I was in the diamond business. And I used to go back in the back room with diamonds, and I used to roll around in the diamonds and spit them out. And I used to put big fucking rubies on my eyes and see if I could see through them. And he, my God rest his soul, he's dead. Casey Stevenson, he's the minnow swallows the whale deal. He did. And he says, Dan, I mean, see, the employees think you're a little goofy, rolling around in the shit down. I don't care. I like it, And the thing about jewels, they're fungible. You can put $3 or $4 million in your pocket, and I like that. Not that I would ever do that, and I would never try to go across customs and shit like this. Like the one guy, we're missing one guy because he's caught in customs. Now we're trying to think positive why he's caught in customs. But I've had a lot of people come to this seminar, and nobody's ever been caught in customs. Now, Robert, in 2010, when they had the volcano from Iceland, and airports are shut down in Europe. We were supposed to have 12 or 14 people at the seminar. I believe only 5 or 6 showed up. All Germans. All Germans. One non-German, I think.
Yeah, he came later. Sean from San Francisco.
Yeah, okay. Germans, and when you come in here during the break, it sounded like Goering and Hitler and Goebbels and the bunker at the end of World War II, and they were all talking back and forth. But the Germans, they were going to be here. They didn't give a shit. And the guy from San Francisco, oh no, I don't want to be stalled at the airport, and maybe Dan will give me my money back. That's close. That ain't going to happen. But the seminar is not about just this. It's about changing your lifestyle to be a high-performance person and being all you can be. When you're all you can be, there's a high probability you're going to create wealth like this, and then you can go do the good things a lot of you guys talk about that you want to do. I personally am not a believer in global warming, and I'm just going to give one short story why. When I was in the South Pole with my wife, being married, renewing our vows down there a few years ago, they have a big scientific center. It costs about $500 million. Americans put up most of the money. And the scientists, we got to talk to the scientists. These are weird fucking guys that live down there. It's dark, 350 years, there's some weird fucks down there. And so they were taking out cores of ice, a meter and a half long. And I mean, you'd think that they were talking, they were touching vaginas or tits or something. They were going, and this is 31,000 years ago, and this is what was on the earth, and the temperature was this, and then this, and Neanderthals and prehistoric animals and all that shit. But down here, what happened at 55,000 years ago? Oh, it was a lot warmer than it is today. I said, excuse me? Yeah. It's a lot warmer than it is today. It was 2.6 degrees centigrade warmer than it is today on the planet 55,000 years ago. No fucking way! He says, yeah, well, they don't. He said, well, I don't know about the fucking way part, but yeah, you're right. And it's 35 below zero outside. They're wearing hush puppies, Bermuda shorts, and T-shirts. But you live down, you get used to the cold. And I go, and I got taking pictures, and what happened here? 31,000, 31,000 years ago, and they got all this stuff, and they're just getting off on it. It's like a sexual experience explaining this shit, And I said, I always knew it was a fucking fraud. And of course, you can ask Robert tonight over drinks. He can give you more stats about how there's more than enough sun, right, to fuel the heat, the earth, for a long, 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 long time. Okay. So when I'm down there, though, and I didn't go down there to do a scientific experiment. I went down to get married to Sally again, and we went down on the centennial, the 100th anniversary of Amundsen's discovery in the South Pole. He was from Norway. And we didn't know that the ambassador from Norway and the U.S. ambassador and all these goddamn scientists and all these guys are going to be down there for that. We didn't know, we just went down. And what most people don't know is the South Pole is on a mountain. It's about 11, 12, 13,000 feet. And it's, you have oxygen deprivation, and a lot of people had oxygen starvation or whatever it's called. And I didn't suffer from that, but the guys, the real fit guys, the guys are 6% body fat, 14% body fat, lean and mean fuckers. These 5-hour marathoners were all sick. All fucking sick. And the guys are eating 4, 5, 6 meals a day, and I mean, we're all fucking sick. And at that time, I was only 66. And I'm dancing around, And then Sally, it wasn't enough. Just to walk was an effort because of the oxygen. We got to go out on a run every morning. No fucking way. I'm not going out on... Yes, you are. And we're staying in little pup tents about this big. And the only thing that bothers me are arthritis. And for me, to get all these clothes on, 5 layers, and all these big 30-pound boots, and to get up and run, and the sun never goes down. The sun's always up. Okay? Now, 5 kilometers. We're going to go 4.8 kilometers. We're going to go out 4.8 kilometers. Oh, honey, really, we don't need to do this. We're down to a honeymoon. He says, no, we're going. So everybody else is conserving their breath, and I'm out on a fucking forced march with Sally, and you can see for almost, not ever, but you can see 50, 60 kilometers. It's nothing but flat fucking, snow, even though you're on the top of this thing. And but the thing that I enjoyed, not the most, but I mean, was the fact that 55,000 years ago, I believe it was 2.8 Celsius warmer. Now, what does that say about global warming? And they said, Dan, anybody that's got a half a brain that's a scientist, which he knows, it's cyclical. It always has been. Sometimes the cycles are 3,000, 4,000 years, but it's cyclical. And they had nobody to sell shit 55,000 years ago. And now we got people. So as my father, God love him, said, if you live long enough, you'll hear it all. Now, did I tell you the tampon story?
Yes.
Okay. He was right. He was right. When they started advertising feminine hygiene products on TV, he knew the world was going to hell, if there is a hell, or he knew that the world was going, at that time, he was a Republican, to the Democrats. He knew the world was over. Questions, you've got homework tonight, questions about what we covered so far. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Dan, you said when you were 30 and a half,
30 and a half, yep.
that time that you were crying, was it because you didn't achieve your goals, and I'm not sure if they're monetary goals or not, or was it because you realized you weren't being all that you could be?
I had achieved my monetary goals. I had two Mercedes, matching Mercedes, and a fucking Rolls. It's not like I wasn't making any shekels, any coins, It's that I knew, this is how I looked at myself when I... See that picture of me up there, the one with the dog and the thingamajig? By the way, that portrait painter, Howard Morgan, that painting made him famous. He's coming. Anyway, I saw myself like that. I was 30... No, I was 41, 42 when I took that. So 10 years before, I saw myself like that. I saw myself being a regal, bon vivant, raconteur, living on a grand estate. And I wasn't, even though I was making a lot of money, which I thought was a lot of money back in 76. I'm not trying to poke you in the eyes, but it's a lot more money than most of you in this room are making now, 40 fucking years later. And, you know, but that's a whole other subject. And if you adjust it for inflation and all that other shit, I was a rich fucking kid. But I knew that I wasn't being all I could be, but I hadn't formulated in my mind and memorialized in the words and QLA and quantum. But I was living that life. I was trying to be all I can be. My boss at that time, a guy named Bob Donato, he won't be at the party. He's ill. Unfortunately, about 25, 30 people aren't going to be at the party because they're too ill. They can't travel. And but one of the greatest compliments, he made the security guards escort me out of the office and made me go home because I was working 24 hours a day for 5-6 days in a row. He escorted me. And one of you or two of you said that I don't want to have to sleep in my office anymore. Well, you should go home today. Security guards escorted me out of the office because I used to buy shirts, take a sponge bath in the toilet, and just keep working. He escorted me. And he loves to tell that story after he's had a couple of drinks, Bob. And Bob is 76 this year. And he says, in 50 years, I've never seen anybody like that. But my dad got back 700 days, you know, compensatory, whatever it is. He didn't take 700 days off in 28 years as being a cop. So me working 4 or 5 days straight didn't mean, you know, my dad used to work 4, 5, 10, 12 shifts in a row. So, I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. I didn't think I was accomplishing anything. Now, I should have thought, but I didn't. Well, nobody else is working here 4 or 5 days. Nobody else is taking a sponge bath in the fucking bathroom. Nobody else, you know. Nobody else is buying, you know, having to buy shirts and underwear every fucking day or every 3 days because he's working in the office. But it didn't resonate. It didn't register. It didn't compute with me at the time. I now know, having dealt with fucking thousands of nimrods like you and the fucking idiots on YouTube, that I was special. And I don't like that terminology because your parents all said you were special and you're not. You just happen to be an egg that was penetrated by some sperm. That's you know, that's a special, you know, out of 4 million or 400 million or whatever the fucking, you got, so what? Big fucking deal. That's the end of your specialness. And I'm not going to ask you how many of your parents told you were special. Mm-hmm. The only difference is, comes out of your dad, that is not going to impregnate anything. So to that degree, you are special. But I was special. I never looked at it that way until you add up all these things I've done, and I'm not being braggadocious, I'm just telling the fucking facts. And we got special people there, up on the wall. When they're going to land their G4 or G5 or G6, I don't know what the fucking plane he's landing. That is special for a kid that's not 40 yet. And especially since when I met him, he had grease under his fucking fingernails. And if you're watching, we'll see you in a few days. That is special. That is. And you can be special. You're going to find that it is not easy, but much easier than you had ever anticipated doing this. Okay, YouTubers, good night. We'll see you in the morning. Thank you very much.